You just gonna yell the entire time, Bella? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit new. I wanted to get more into sharing recipes and stuff like that. So today I'm going to be doing a seasonal based recipe. So all the vegetables and stuff in today's meal that I'm going to be making are all in season that you can make here during the winter. So today we are going to be making a lemon winter vegetable soup that I have created for you to try and for me to try. So we'll see how this recipe turns out. But before we get into this recipe, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe down below. That way you can see some more great sustainable in-season recipes. Without further ado, let's get started. Here is what you will need for today's recipe. For this recipe, you will need 6 cups of chicken or vegetable broth, an additional 4 cups of water, 1 package of baby carrots or 2 large carrots, 2 leeks and 1 large onion, 4 small baking potatoes, 1 lemon and 1 sweet potato, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 bunch of collard green, and 4 celery stalks. For spices, you'll need 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 bay leaf, a 1/4 teaspoon of sage, a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary, half a teaspoon of thyme leaves, half a teaspoon of marjoram, and 1 teaspoon of garlic pepper. Begin by putting your broth in a large pot over medium heat. Then add the additional 4 cups of water, and then begin to add your seasonings. Start with your 2 teaspoons of salt. Then you can add your bay leaf, thyme, marjoram, rosemary, sage, and of course the garlic pepper. Make sure to then stir in your spices well. Next, take a large pan and heat 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. In the meantime, you can start cutting your produce, starting by mincing your garlic. Next, start to cut your carrots into small discs. You can make them as small or as large as you like. Next, chop your white onion, and just like the carrots, you are free to make these slices as big or as small as you like. Then cut the celery into bite-sized pieces. Pro tip, instead of throwing out the ends, you can save them in the freezer to make vegetable broth at a later date. Finally, cut your leek. I like to cut it down the middle once to get smaller slices, and you can add the entire leek right into your soup. Once your pan is warm, add the garlic and stir in the olive oil for about 30 seconds or until it is fragrant. Then add the rest of your veggies, starting with celery, carrots, onion, and the leek. You're going to saute these until they are soft. Make sure, once again, to stir so they are all coated in olive oil. Don't be afraid to add more if you need it. Take your lemon and zest into the veggies. Also, zest into your broth as it is warming up. While everything is heating on the stove, you can then cut the rest of your veggies, starting with your sweet potatoes, cutting them into bite-sized pieces, as well as your baking potatoes, also into small, bite-sized pieces. Next, cut your collard greens. Again, you can save the stem to make vegetable broth later. The way I like to cut these is by folding it in half and rolling it. I then slice it down the middle to help make smaller pieces, and slice from the end all the way down. After about 10 to 15 minutes of occasional stirring on the stove, your veggies should be softened and are ready to be added to the broth. At this point, you can also add your sweet potatoes and baking potatoes. Stir all these veggies in, and you can turn up the heat to bring the soup to a boil. Add juice from half your lemon right into the soup and let boil for 15 to 20 minutes or until the potatoes are soft. Once the potatoes are soft, you can then add your collard greens in. Make sure to then stir in those collard greens well, and you can add slices of lemon from the other half for a nice garnish and extra flavor. Cover your soup for an additional 5 minutes and let simmer. And there you go, it is all ready for you to put in bowls and enjoy. Hello, so it has, clearly you can see it has been a bit of time since I tried the soup, and I just wanted to give kind of the final verdict on it because that was my first time making that soup recipe, and it was so good. It's very light. You can make it as lemony or not lemony as you want it. It's just a nice, warm, comforting soup. Really good if you're sick because it has that citrus lemon in it, as well as a lot of good, healthy veggies that are good for you. Lots of flavor, just really tasty and yummy. Not too difficult to make. It's nice and vegetarian, of course, and all the vegetables are in season. So I highly recommend trying it if you get a chance. And so that is all the time I have for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like down below. That way I know. And also subscribe to the channel to join the journey to living more sustainably. If you'd like to keep up on my own journey to living more sustainably in between uploads, you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all linked down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.